Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about lymph node, its anatomy, physiology and clinical significance. So what is lymph node? It is a small capsulated lymph or tissue pieces present along the passage of lymphatics. Here I am drawing a lymph node. It has two surfaces. One is convex and other is concave. The convex surface receives afferent lymphatics through which lymph comes into the lymph node. This concave surface is also called hilum. Three important structures are present here: artery, vein, and efferent lymphatics. Through the efferent lymphatics, lymph goes out of the lymph node. Now, this is the capsule of lymph node. It is made up of dense connective tissue. This capsule or connective tissue extends into the lymph node and makes some partitions. These extensions are called trabeculae. Here, the outer portion of the lymph node is called cortex, and the inner portion is called medulla. The cortex is again divided into two parts. The outermost portion is called outer cortex and the innermost portion is called inner cortex. Inner cortex is also called paracortex. Now let's see how lymph flows into the lymph node. Here I would like to mention that lymphatic channels within the lymph node are called sinuses. So the sinuses present just underneath the capsule is called subcapsular sinuses. Likewise, lymphatics adjacent to the trabeculae is called trabecular sinuses. It is also called cortical sinuses. From where they come down and make some intercommunicating channels. These sinuses are called medullary sinuses. These medullary sinuses finally comes out as efferent lymphatics. So, lymph comes through the efferent lymphatics, first goes into the subscapular sinuses, then trabecular or cortical sinuses. Then it comes to the medullary sinuses and finally comes out through the efferent lymphatics. Lymphatic channels have special valves. All those valves are one-way valve so that the lymph flow only in one direction. Now let's see what are the cells present in lymph node and where they present. As we know, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes are present in lymph node. B lymphocytes are present in the outer cortex. They are arranged in multiple nodules. They are called lymphatic nodules or lymphatic follicles. Some antigen presenting cells are also present in that area, such as macrophage and follicular dendritic cells. Some other cells like reticular cells are also present. They produce type 3 collagen, which helps to make the architecture of lymph node. Here I would like to mention that when there is antigen stimulation to the B cells, they undergo mitotic division and the follicle become large. The lymphocytes which are most stimulated will be present at the center. They are actively dividing lymphocytes. The outer part of the follicle contains unstimulated small size B lymphocytes. Now let's discuss about the germinal center concept. I think you are already familiar with the concept that actively dividing cells have open nucleus and unstimulated resting cells have a larger nucleus with condensed chromatin. So chromatin of the actively dividing cells will be less densely stained in comparison to resting nucleus. That's why lymphoid follicle has a center where cells are germinating or actively proliferating. These cells are lightly stained. This lightly stained area at the center of the lymphoid follicle is called germinal center. It has a clinical significance. If you see there is absence of germinal center under the microscope, that means the lymphoid follicle is in resting phase. But if you find the lightly staining germinal center, that means the lymphoid follicle is actively proliferating. Now let's talk about the inner cortex. Inner cortex contains T lymphocytes. They are randomly arranged in that area. This inner cortex only develop when T lymphocytes are present. Without T lymphocytes, this area will be underdeveloped. There is a syndrome called Dijor's syndrome, where thymus is underdeveloped. So there will be T cell deficiency. In that case, the inner cortex area of the lymph node will be underdeveloped. Other cells are present in that area are macrophage and dendritic cells. So follicular dendritic cell present in outer cortex and dendritic cell present in inner cortex. You can remember this as follicular dendritic cells present around the follicle. And you already know that follicle present in outer cortex area. Now in that medullary portion, some specialized cells are present like plasma cells. Plasma cells are modified B cells which can secrete antibodies. Macrophage also present in that area. So macrophage actually present in all the three layers. So it's all about lymph node anatomy and histology.